Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm finally back with another YouTube video. Thank you guys for tuning in Down South Expeditions. And on this nice Sunday morning, I've got out here to finally make my review on the Iceco VL70 fridge freezer. Fridge freezer. Now I know you guys haven't seen a ton about this thing on the channel so far, but I've used it for 30 times now, 30 nights consistently, 20 on our cross-country adventure for 20 days straight, non-stop cooling and freezing food items, drinks, all that kind of stuff, as well as just some quick overnighters, 2-day stuff that we have done not too long ago. So I'm going to take you guys through everything that I found that I really like about the freezer, fridge, what I don't quite like about it, and why you should get one. So let's do it. Alright everybody, so first thing, just a few stats about the Iceco. I'm not going to get super into the numbers things because I know when I bought this, that's not really what I cared about the most. Yeah, it was nice to know, how much total capacity and all that kind of stuff it is, but for you guys, I'm going to give you a real life, what can this thing hold as far as when you're going camping, when you're going out, what you can really fit in here, and what its best purposes are. Obviously, as the name states, this is the VL75 Pro, which is 75 liters of storage inside the cooler. If you open up the top here, kind of got it to where it'll stay. You have two separate zone, freezer and fridge. Now when I say that, that means either side can be a refrigerator or freezer depending on what you do over here on the little control center over here. I'll show you guys that a little more in a minute. But the doors open up on both sides, which is really nice. So say if I'm trying to get a lot of stuff out of this thing, especially when I have it in the back seat, I'll open them up that way they don't ever fall over or anything like that, and I can get what I need out of them. Alrighty, so you've bought your Iceco VL75 Pro. Now what can you expect to fit into this freezer? Now, as you guys know, we did our 20-day long overlanding adventure all the way out to Wyoming, Colorado, Montana, Utah, all that stuff, and we ran this refrigerator straight for 20 days. Now, I'll get a little bit more into how we powered it later on in the video. This isn't going to be completely about how you can power the refrigerator, but I will touch on it a little bit. The freezer did great the entire time. So during our trip, we were able to fit about 5 to 7 days worth of food for 2 guys over about a 7-day period of time. Now that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between. So that's having waters in the bed, swapping those out whenever we run out, snacks, all the breakfast food, anything to make, you can basically put it in here. I'll try to get a video later on of when we do pack the refrigerator up and kind of show you guys how much stuff you can really fit in here. But just telling you it can fit 120 or 50 something cans is not really what you're going to be using it for, because obviously everything's a different size and shape. If you got french fries or you got frozen meats, all that kind of stuff takes up a different amount of space, and it also is configurably different. 100 cans, you might be able to fit a lot more packaged meat in here than you would be 100 cans, just due to space and all that kind of stuff. Flash update, the new YouTube channel merch, the very first merch, is in the link in the description below. I'll put a picture of it right here. I'll try to link it right here or right here. Go get your t-shirts now. We got stickers, pretty cool die cut stickers made. We've got 2 t-shirts designed, so guys, make sure you check those out. Those are definitely going to help out with the video quality of the videos. I just bought a gimbal. You can probably see a few shots from it today. Hope they look pretty cool. I'm still getting used to it, but go check the link in the description, downsouthexpeditions.com. You can get all the merch that you could want, because there's only about 3 or 4 things in the store right now, but new stuff to come. So back to the refrigerator. Alrighty, so quick rundown on the control pad. Obviously you have your turning up and turning down for the freezer fridge. Now I've had it on for about 30 minutes with the doors halfway open most of the time filming this, and as you can tell, it's already getting on down pretty fast in the temperature. You have eco and max mode. It's going to kick the compressor into overdrive, so if you're really trying to get it to cool down faster, now that is going to use more battery power, but that is where this little piece comes in. Just by clicking the settings knob right there, you can change it from least battery lost to lowest to medium. Alrighty, so what does the battery monitoring system mean on the ice cove? It's basically exactly what the little symbols on there mean. The internal electronics on the refrigerator can sense how much battery percentage you have left on your battery. So if you're doing it like I have, right now I'm just powering it off of the starter battery. It is pulling voltage off of that and gauging that through electronic. If I want the refrigerator to run longer while the truck is powered off, I can set that battery meter down, which is going to allow it to run longer. And if I raise it up, it's going to run less time, because as the voltage drops off the starter battery, the refrigerator is going to shut itself off. A super great feature, especially if you're going to run into a store right fast, or you're going to go somewhere real quick and then it ends up taking a few hours. You don't have to worry about the refrigerator draining your starter battery on your vehicle, and that's just a super nice feature to have. Obviously, if you are going into somewhere and the refrigerator cuts off, whatever you have in there will probably get warm, but the refrigerator is fairly well insulated. I know one time it was all the way down at about 30-35 degrees throughout, and it lasted about 2 hours. About when I got back, after it had been completely shut off for 2 hours, it had only risen to about 55. That's not too bad, but obviously if you had frozen stuff in there, you would want to keep an eye on that a little more. And more on that on how to power the ice cove in another video coming soon. Is there anything I don't personally like about the ice cove? Two things. One is the size of the thing. Obviously this is a 75-liter refrigerator, and the only place I have to put it right now safely is in the bed of my truck, because I don't have a sliding thing, anything in the bed to make sure, one, it doesn't get stolen, and number two, to keep it from flying around. The size of it is definitely a downside. However, it's also an upside, because I did buy the big one. I could have bought the smaller one. If you want more storage, obviously you have to opt for the bigger refrigerator freezer. Now, number two is the weight. The weight isn't too bad on this thing. However, if you are, you know, maybe a smaller person, or you're trying to lift this thing up high up into a big truck or something like that, it will get pretty cumbersome eventually. I know we lugged it out of there a few times during the trip, completely fully loaded. I swear when it was fully loaded, it had to weigh 100 pounds. Trying to fit that thing through a door and then drag it around the hotel room and all that kind of stuff, if you did have to stop, it can be pretty a pretty good task. Now, other than that, the tie down points on the refrigerator are very good. I've only used bungee cords and ratchet straps to hold it into the back seat so far. Had no problems with that. Definitely recommend the VL75 Pro. I'm gonna quickly touch on what I use to power the ice cove when I'm on any trip. So number one, when I'm driving, I plug it straight into the DC, the car charger on the truck. That powers it just fine. I can keep it in max mode. It'll get down cold quick, and I don't have to worry about it killing the truck while I'm going down the road or anything like that. When I do get stopped, if I think I'm going to be stopped at a place and it's very warm outside for more than a few hours, I will take the Yeti Goal Zero and plug it into the refrigerator. Now, as you guys know, I have the Yeti 250 or 200, something like that, a very small battery pack. It will run this thing, depending on the temperature outside, from anywhere from an hour and a half to up to 5 hours, depending on how much draw the refrigerator is taking to cool itself down, how hot it is in the cab, all that kind of stuff. At night, I have a small Honda 2000 generator. It's super quiet. It has no problem powering this thing, and the Honda is very efficient on gasoline. Now, if you use it overnight and you don't have some type of solar system to charge your batteries and stuff like that, a generator is really the only way that you can power this thing through the night without having any issues with it shutting off or anything like that. On 1 gallon of gasoline, it can run itself for almost 11 to 12 hours. This fridge all night long. I've used it 20 days in a row, had no problems with it. So that is typically how I like to power the refrigerator. So what are my final thoughts about the Ice Cove VL75 Pro? When there is nothing inside of the grates, they will rattle a pretty large amount. So if you don't have your music on, or your roads are just really crappy like they are around here, you will get a lot of rattle out of those cages. I'll either put a piece of cloth in there or something to quiet it up, or whenever it is full, I have no issues with it rattling, so that's really nice. The construction on this thing is super durable. Not only do they send you an extra handle, they do send you the AC and DC power adapters, so you can run that through a wall outlet, or you can run it on a cigarette lighter off of your battery or vehicle. Build quality on this thing, super solid. Nothing to say bad about it there. There's metal, aluminum all over the thing. Obviously it is mostly plastic. The compressor is fine. Everything has been roughed up pretty decently. It's had some shakes. No issues with the refrigerator so far. So if you're worried about beating this thing up, you don't have to worry about it. Alright everybody, thanks for watching the video. Links in the description for the Icecrow VL75 Pro fridge refrigerator. Still a huge mouthful. You can check that out in the link for the description below. Thanks for watching. Easton here with Down South Expeditions, and we'll check you next time.